What if I told you there was a way to use your current electrical layout for your house, your outlets, as an Ethernet connection from your computers to your router downstairs or wherever it may be in your house? Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's kind of not. We'll go ahead and get into the details right here, right now on the Ujamaa Network. I'm Antoine Anderson. Let's talk about it. What it comes down to is just a good old fashioned debate over speed versus convenience. Power over Ethernet devices like this one right here have been on the market for quite some time and allows you to take these prongs, plug them into your outlet, and then from there you plug in an Ethernet cable just like that, run that other end to your computer, and this stays in your wall. Now, where your computer is, wherever it is in the house, that's one side of it. Then you take its partner and do the same thing, plug it into an outlet, and then use a separate Ethernet cable, plug it into here, and then plug it in the back of your router. Sounds simple enough? Yeah, because it is. You might just have to hit this little reset button on this particular model, and that will sync the two devices. And that way, you're using basically a copper wire just like you use with your Ethernet, only using it external to an Ethernet device. So it's convenient. It keeps you from having to run cable throughout your house. But what are the trade-offs? The trade-offs are just basically going to come down to speed and latency. I ran a couple of tests, and I'm going to go through them with the results with you right now. First, we're going to establish a baseline. Basically, what am I using as my internet connection from my servicer, ISP, to my home? Well, that's going to be a fiber optic line. I'm doing 500 megabits per second. Now, that is fine if I'm going directly from that router to my device. But what you're getting with these power over Ethernet devices like this TP-Link one I have here, you're not getting anywhere near that. At best, optimal, I've been able to achieve somewhere in the 20s on these devices, 20 megs per second. So I'm not getting any, I'm not winning any awards with that connection. Now, that may be fine for someone who's just working from home and they need to be plugged into a landline. It's fast enough for that. Maybe a couple of Zoom meetings, but nothing high def. And you can work conveniently without running wires through your house and use this device in any room that you want to set up in without having the expense of having Ethernet cable run to your house, and that's fine. But any gamers, any streaming, this is not the best option for you. It's just simply too slow. Now, here are some other tests that we ran. This next one is all about the 1 gigabit version of the device that I have here. And it's just going to have a little lettering on it. I don't know if it's going to zoom in. There you go. And this is let's see if it zooms in a little bit further. Yeah, you probably can see it, AVT 1000. It's a gigabit connection. Great. However, I'm not getting that much difference in the speed. It's basically the same, maybe 10 or 11 megabits per second faster, but it's just not happening. Now, why is that? Well, because there is signal degradation within the wall. When you're trying to use these connections, the further away from the outlets you are, the more digital information is going to get lost. Also, if you're not on that same circuit, it's going to cause some problems. Now, it will go through your junction box and it will find a path that's just going to decode the signal from one end of these devices to the other. And that's going to be its speed. You cannot use this in a surge protector. Most surge protectors will just screen out the signal as noise, and you won't have any connection at all. But with 25 meg per second or less, you're limited to what you can actually do with that. Now, this last test was just using a basic, $17 Wi-Fi USB adapter, like this one. Again, another TP product. One of those little flash drives, you know what I'm talking about. These little guys here. Okay, it's plugs into your USB port, and I achieve these speeds. Again, these are different ways to have Ethernet access to your computer throughout the house, no matter what room you put it in. But the trade-off is going to be the speed. You're just going to have a faster connection, more stable connection with an Ethernet line than you would on Wi-Fi or even with these power over Ethernet devices. Why is this significant? Well, if you're doing any kind of content creation with a PC like I'm doing, you got to set up, got your camera, everything. Whenever you upload content to YouTube, Patreon, or TikTok or whatever, you are definitely going to see the difference in how much time you're sitting here waiting for the process to render. And it is going to make a difference once you created your content and try to upload it versus seconds versus a half hour or more, or even longer than that, depending on the speed of your computer. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, it keeps you out of the clutches of people who will charge you a lot of money, myself included, to set a system like this up. A lot of times you're thinking it's a computer that's giving you the problem. Really, it's just your speed and your access to the internet. And it's not that you're paying a whole bunch of money for a 500 gig per second line. You're just not going to see it, and you're not even going to know where to look. We're going to keep some links in the bottom where you can get that speed test from. You can test your own speed of your internet connection and then see how you stack up. But again, unless you're going through the router directly, you're not going to achieve those speeds as advertised unless you have a whole set of conditions met. I just went through 3 of them, and neither one of the TP-Link devices nor the Wi-Fi adapter device even scratched 100 megabits per second on a 500 megabit per second connection. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will talk with you later. Thank you for joining us.